Hello, Tidal Waves coaches. I just want to show you how to use the Club Assistant online club and team management system to enter the meet lineup for each swim meet. So the first thing is that I've given you all a login name and password. And when you use the club name, you're going to go ahead and use Swim Phone with a capital S and a capital P. Type in Swim Phone for the club name, login name, password, hit login. Once you're in there, you're going to see that we have all of the swim meets listed for this season. And for the meet that's coming up next, which is the Moreno Valley versus Tidal Waves meet on May 18th, you'll see that there's a couple options here. The first one is for the girls meet roster. The second is boys. And then there's individual event. So those are the ones that we're going to be really looking at. We'll talk about relays in a minute. The girls meet roster, if you click on that, what that's going to allow you to do is choose who goes in the meet roster and who is not in the meet roster. As you can see, they've been identified if they are attending the meet and they declared that online through our system, then they are in the meet roster. If they are not attending, then they don't have anything listed there and they're not in the meet roster. So what that does is it makes sure that there isn't a kid listed on your lineup sheet that's not coming to the meet. So if they're not coming to the meet, they're not able to be selected. But if you have a kid who you know is going to be there, or maybe there's a coach who you want to add to the meet roster, then this is where you would do that. You would put them in the meet roster. All right, so now if I go back to the page that I was on, the next thing that you could do is you could do the individual events page. And what that's going to do is take you to, first of all, it'll take you immediately to the 6 and under girls. And you can see that I've already filled this in with every single kid is going to swim the freestyle and every single kid is going to swim the backstroke. That's because in the 6 and unders, there's only 2 events to do and you're allowed to do 3 individual events. So these kids can all swim every event. So that one's really easy to do. All we have to do for the 6 and unders is fill in the relays, and I'll talk about that in just a second. So let's take a look at the 7-8 roster, which is a little bit more complicated. These are the events for the 7/8s. You got the 25 free, 25 fly, 25 back, 50 free, 100 IM, and 25 breast. Those are the 6 individual events. For the individual events, the league rules are that you can only do 3 individual events. That's the maximum. If you want to, you can put them in 2 individual events and 2 relays, but no matter what, no swimmer is allowed to have more than 4 events altogether. 3 individuals max and 2, you can do 2 relays if you want to, but if they do 2 relays, then they can only do 2 individual events. So when you're doing this, on the right-hand side, it'll keep track of how many they have total in the event, and it can never be more than 4 on this right-hand side. The bottom, it'll keep track of the total number of kids entered into an event. Just kind of take a look at that and make sure that you don't max out an event with too many, because then we'll have so many heats, we're going to be there all night long. So that's the rules. So now, when you're filling something like this out, you probably want to try to do the best you can to spread out the talent. So you want to have, if you have a really good, maybe 2 really good swimmers, you probably don't want them both in the same event. You probably want to spread them out a little bit and have them doing different events. But that's totally up to you. You're the coach. You get to decide what strategy you're going to use. What I like to do when I make a meet lineup is, rather than doing it here on the computer, what I would like to do is I'd like to print this thing out. So they have a print preview button, and then you can just go ahead and hit Control P on your computer. It'll pop up a thing that you can go ahead and print this page out for yourself, and then fill it in with a pencil. And you can go ahead and make changes and figure out what you're going to do. And then you can come back onto the computer and go ahead and enter these into the computer. So just wanted to show you that that option is available for you, that you can print out the meet lineup. And these kids are the ones that we have said in the meet roster are attending the meet. So you know for sure that they're going to be there. So one of the rules that we have for just tidal waves is that, if you think about ASO, you want to make sure everybody gets to play. So let's make sure that every kid has 3 events. you might every once in a while you might give a kid only 2 events, but if you think about it, there's really no reason why we can't give a kid at least 3 events. And then as a side, let's just make sure that let's not put every single kid in the 100 IM. Again, if you do that, then we're going to be there all night long, because that's going to take a really long time to get through the long free event and the 100 IM. So let's try to keep those a little bit shorter in terms of how many people you put in them. But let's make sure that everybody kind of gets at least 3 events that they can do. So you could put somebody in like 2 individual events and 1 relay, for example. And that would be kind of a good meet lineup at least for a kid. And really, I mean, you could put kids in 4 events if you want to, and there's really no problem with that. You might want to keep in mind we're going to run 10 lanes. So in general, there's going to be 5 from our team in an event. So if you use numbers like 10 and 5 and 15, then you know that you're only going to limit yourself to about 3 heats. Of course, the other team might not fill the rest of their events, so then we could have a few more people in an event. But just kind of keep that in mind. So let's say that you've gone ahead and you've filled out that paper that I talked about and you're ready to fill in these meets. What you can do to enter a kid into the race on the computer is you can click in the box. Now, clicking in the box opens up another window, and that window, what it does is it allows you to pick the kid's best time. Now, you'll notice that for this event, you'll see what the best times are for that kid, and you can see that Peyton is on the list kind of further down here, and the fastest person on our team is Bella Brierly, and that's based on the practice meet times. A couple of things that you have to be careful of. So if you want to enter somebody into an event, all you have to do is you click on the best time right there, and now they're entered in the event. Just hit submit. And then it'll come back to this page and you'll see that there's a time listed for that person now. The total event number has gone up to 1. So if I put this person in the 100 fly also, the event total would go up to 2. And you'll notice that for Peyton, I've got her in the 25 free, the 25 fly, and the 50 free. And now she's in 3 individual events. Remember, league rules, they can only have 3 individual events. So now you have, if you want to, you can use Peyton for one of the relays. Okay, so you're going to do that for every single kid. Another way to enter the individual events, if you don't want to do it this way that I just showed you, instead you could go ahead and just click on an individual person. So if you click on one of the people, it's going to open up a window where it just has for this one individual person, okay, I've decided that for her, and this is where maybe if you filled out that piece of paper that I talked about, you can go ahead and just click in there. Okay, she's doing the 25 fly, she's doing the 50 free, and she's going to do the 25 breast. And then you submit. And when it'll take you back to the other page, and now you've got Bella in these 3 events, and I previously put Peyton in these events. And if you want to, you can also erase all of what I just did. Either you can click on the one individual event and erase that thing by hitting the delete button. So you can erase the time by just go ahead and clicking the delete button, and now she's not in the race, and then you see that she's gone out of that 25 free. So I'm going to go ahead and erase these because I want you to fill in the meet lineup.